He says, at what point would you recommend someone to look into umbrella insurance? And also maybe give everyone a brief explanation of what is umbrella insurance.
By the way, we recently had a comment that kind of critiqued us a little bit. So I'll let you correct it. And then but still, I think what is interesting, though, is the way he described it. It does sit on top, but it's just that it increases your liability protections. I'll let you take it.
Let me describe what umbrella insurance is, and then why don't you talk about who needs it, when you need it, why you need it. So umbrella insurance is exactly what it sounds like. It is an umbrella that sits over the other insurances that you carry. So you might have automobile coverage that covers you up to a certain limit, or you might have home insurance that will cover your home up to a certain limit, so on and so forth. Well, umbrella insurance sits on top of those. It, as the comment pointed out, it's not gap insurance. It doesn't fill in any gaps. It sits on top of the insurances that you already have. So if there were to be some event that took place that maxed out your insurance, or where your insurance was only willing to pay a certain amount, the umbrella insurance would sit on top of that amount. That's what umbrella insurance is. And the good news is umbrella insurance is really, really inexpensive. It's not uncommon to get millions of dollars of umbrella coverage at hundreds of dollars of annual cost. So it's not incredibly expensive. So a lot of people, Jeff, find themselves in the question where, okay, do I need this? Like, is umbrella insurance something that makes sense for me? I mean, I've got my homeowner's insurance and I've got my auto insurance. Do I even really need it, or why would I get it?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got assets, you need it. I mean, and so that's why I like umbrella insurance. It kind of correlates to your net worth. So, and by the way, you can probably go up to $5 million. Once you're worth over $5 million, they're not going to give you insurance beyond that. But hopefully, your level of exposure is limited because that's just a lot of money at that point. So 1 million is where people typically start out. And you think about it, because like your auto policy might have a liability protection up to 250,000. And if, taking it up to 1 million definitely is going to add a lot more liability protection for you. If you take it up to 2 million, it gives you're still going to have a target on your back. Once you have assets, people are going to want to sue you because we know that there's pockets there that can pay. It's just, instead of it trying to get into your pockets, we're trying to give you some type of protection through an insurance policy or some, so that the attorneys are basically dealing with the insurance company, not trying to get into your net worth statement.
Can I share a quick little case study of when we saw this, like a real life example of this? You're going to know the one I'm talking about as soon as I say it. We have a client who had a young child. Now, this child is now since grown up and an adult and married and all kinds of stuff now. But when he was young, as young kids do, he made a bad decision. He decided to pick up and start throwing rocks at a school bus that was going by. He wasn't trying to be nefarious. It was just a little kid throwing rocks at a school bus. Well, a rock went through one of the windows that was down in the school bus, and it hit a little girl in the face. And when it hit her in the face, it caused a laceration. It was a moving school bus. So obviously her parents were like, hey, this is a cut on her face. We want to get like a plastic surgeon to make sure that we have minimal scarring and all this kind of stuff. Well, the party that was responsible for covering all those medical bills was our client, because it was her young child that did this. Well, when they kind of went through this whole process, the insurance that stepped in and protected her from having to come out of pocket for those medical bills was her umbrella insurance policy. And so one of the things we tell people, especially if you have teen drivers, or maybe you have kids that are going off to college, umbrella insurance can also cover members of your household that are not presently residing in your households, like kids off in college that maybe might not always make the wisest decisions. If you're someone that falls in that scenario, umbrella insurance is a great insurance for you to cover, so that you can protect not only your assets, but also your income and the other valuable things that you have going on in your life.
I love what I do for a living, because that child was in kindergarten at the time. And now I talk to the mom. She's still a client. That says I'm very loyal. I still hang out with my high school friends. I still have clients, that now their kids are grown, and grandchildren are not here yet, but they've been married now for well over a year. And it's just kind of wild seeing a child go from kindergarten through high school, graduate from a very awesome university,
What you hear that?
I'm not going to say anymore, but it is. That's one of the cool things about doing this job too, is because I do it now exactly the case study, and it was a good. He's a good kid, but he made a dumb decision. Even good kids do stupid stuff, and that's part of the messy middle. And that's why if you're a parent dealing with the messy middle, and you're like, "Why are my kids so hard? Why?" Don't worry. That's one of the fruits of life is that you do all the things you can do. Probably better days are ahead on some of those life elements that I'm sure when this mother was going through it, she was like, what am I going to do to get out of this? But it got better now. It's all good.